Alright, quick announcement before you watch this video. This is the exact SOP that my team uses to remove Experian hard inquiries. This is the exact SOP that is working up to date today at the time of recording of this video. Maybe you've applied for a bunch of recent accounts. Maybe you've got some inquiries that you didn't know how to dispute with Experian. I'm going to be showing you how to do it for free. Once you remove these, now you're going to be able to access the funding that you need to scale your business to the next level. Alright, and before you go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click the subscribe button below. Appreciate the support. You sharing these videos, you getting it out there, that's going to help us to reach the audience that we need to reach. So with that being said, y'all enjoy the video. Y'all stay up, and I'll see y'all at the end of the video. All right, let's talk about removing your Experian hard inquiries from your credit report within the next 24 to 72 hours. Okay. Before we begin, this is the most updated SOP as of this date today. So it could change, right? But just follow this step by step. As long as you do what I say, you follow the exact scripts, okay, and you do everything that I say in this thing, you're going to get these inquiries removed. Now, the estimated time is going to take to complete this is about 20 minutes. It could be shorter, it could be longer. To get Experian on the phone, I would really do it first thing in the morning. I think Experian, it's either 8 or 9 a.m. Don't remember which one it is, but call them early in the morning because that's when most people are just starting to wake up when they first open. If you try calling in the middle of the day, you might be on the phone for some time, but always call first thing in the morning. And let's talk about the inquiries that you actually can dispute. So you can only dispute inquiries that are a result from denials. You cannot dispute inquiries that are attached to open personal credit accounts. So any type of credit card, loan, mortgage, you can't dispute those, or you risk shutting down the account, or they're just gonna flat out tell you that we can't. Okay. So what we're gonna be doing is that we're gonna be calling Experian directly and reporting the inquiries as fraudulent. So step one, okay, gather your information. So make sure that you have your full name, you have your address, you know your social security number, and you know your birthday. And second, you want to collect your latest credit report and look at all the inquiries. So go to your Experian report. Okay, depending on if you get it from the app or if you get it from annual credit report, scroll down all the way, or it should be at the top for Experian. So at the top, it'll list all the inquiries that you've had. Okay, make sure that you write down the list of inquiries that you want to dispute that are attached to denials. And not only that, if you have an Experian account already, make sure that you know your PIN number. All right, so it should be like a 4-digit PIN number. If you don't remember this, just tell them that you don't remember it and ask them to answer, if you can answer security questions. And they're just going to be asking you like questions like, where did you last live at? Do you own this car? Stuff like that. Step two is you're going to start the dispute. So you're going to call Experian at this number. Okay, this is the latest number that works. So call Experian at this number right here, and then follow the script. So you're going to press 1, which is going to be Experian or your membership. Then they're going to ask you, what is it that you want to do? You're going to say dispute. And then you're going to say no if they ask you if you want to do a text. Next, you're going to enter your social security number and your zip code. And then you're going to say initiate new dispute when they ask you the next question. So you're going to say after that, what would you like to do? Initiate new dispute. And then after that, you're going to say speak to a live agent. And then you're going to be wait to be transferred. When you get on the phone, all right, you're going to verify your information. So verify all this information up here. Then you're going to say this exact script. I was recently a victim of identity theft. I have several hard inquiries on my credit report that I did not authorize. These are fraudulent and I would like them removed. Now, depending on which rep that you get, 80 to 90% of the time, they're going to like give you some type of pushback. They're going to say that you need to contact the creditor first. All you got to do to handle that objection is just say this. I already spoke to the creditors and they told me to contact you guys. That's it. They might give some more pushback. That's just part of the protocol. We just keep the same thing. I've already contacted the creditors. That's why I'm calling you guys. I've already disputed it with them. I've already contacted them. I already spoke to them. They're going to say, great. Okay. They're going to transfer you over to the fraud department. So in step 3, when you get connected with the fraud department, okay, you're going to basically request to speak to the fraud department. You may need to ask them twice. And then you'll know in the right place if they say that you're from special services. So they're going to say something like, this is special services or something like that. It always switches up. But if they say some special services, you're in the right place. And then
throughout this whole process, you are not going to add a fraud alert. So just understand that you're not adding a fraud alert. So when you get on the phone, they're going to verify information. Then you're going to say the same line again. I was recently a victim of identity theft. I have several hard inquiries on my credit report that I did not authorize. These are fraudulent and I would like them removed. If they push back again, you're going to say the same thing. I've already spoke to the creditors and they told me to contact you guys. That's it. Next, they're going to ask you what inquiries that you want to dispute. So you're going to be very specific. List the name of the inquiry and the date. So let's say if you had a with ABC Bank. So you're going to say I have an inquiry with ABC Bank on December 15th, 2025. Okay. Then they're going to say, hey, what's next? They're going to give them the next inquiry. They're going to keep going down. Okay. Then they're going to check the system for the existing disputes. Okay, again, they might give you some pushback. Just constantly say, I don't recognize these. These need to be removed. These are fraudulent. Next, they're going to ask you if you've already filed a police report. Just say, I haven't submitted one yet, but I plan to. So they're always going to ask you this about filing a police report, but you don't need to. But just say the script. Again, you're going to say the script. Do not let them place a fraud alert on your file. And then once all that is done, if you want to, while you're already on the call, you can go ahead and dispute any other personal information that you have. So if you look at your report, you see any personal information, any old addresses, any telephone numbers, right? Any other variations of your social security, any old employers, go ahead and dispute those while you're there. Okay, that's going to make your file look a lot cleaner than as you're accessing and funding. When these banks are pulling your reports, they don't see different variations or different addresses. It makes it a lot easier for them to verify you. And you can get denied strictly because your personal information is messed up. So go in and fix that. Now, like I said, it should be removed in 24 to 72 hours. If there is no confirmation, like I said, they don't confirm removal of the phone, just literally hang up and call again and keep going until you get that removal. You may need to speak to multiple reps. Finally, what Experian, with specifically with Experian, they give a hard time deleting inquiries that are attached to like denials from an auto loan. So if you go to a dealership and they just rack up like 10 or 12 inquiries, Experian, and let's say you ended up getting a car, those other inquiries to Experian are still correlated to that auto loan, so they're going to make it difficult. So if you have auto loans that were tied to a denial, or if you do have an auto loan, so this is one exception where you can dispute. You can dispute the auto loan, but dispute the auto loan as fraudulent. What happens is nothing happens to the auto loan, but it like opens up the gateway for the other inquiries to be disputed. So at the beginning of the call, if you know that you have inquiries that are attached to the auto loan, or at the end of it, they say anything else, yeah, I actually want to dispute the auto loan as fraudulent. So tell them, yeah, this auto loan is fraudulent. I want to dispute that. And then after you say that, that's when you want to dispute all the other actual inquiries that were tied to that auto loan. So if you do have an open auto loan, but there was like a bunch of inquiries that didn't correlate to it, that's how you're going to remove those. So, excuse me, follow this step by step. This how you're gonna remove Experian hard inquiries. It should update within 24 to 72 hours. Let me know how it goes. You know what I'm saying, and then continue with the rest of the training. So there you go.